Hey guys, Josh from the Exotic Empire here. This is our first video in the Species Index series we're going to be launching. Basically, once or twice a week, we're going to pick a species that we have here at our facility, and we're going to show it to you guys and kind of talk about it a little bit. These will be short videos, just a couple minutes long, real basic care, real basic information on the species. And sometimes it'll be some of the more common stuff, other times it'll be some really rare stuff that you guys probably don't get to see very often. But every week will be different, every episode will be different. And I wanted to start with these. This is a Brazilian rainbow boa. This is an adult female animal. And the reason I wanted to start with these is because we have these fairly often at shows and we always get asked about them. And I've noticed that a lot of people who come up to the table and start talking about them seem to have a fear that they're really sensitive, that they're delicate animals. And I haven't had that in my experience. They're very hardy. They're really good animals to keep and work with. As you can see, as adults, they're pretty laid back. This is a South American species from Guyana and Suriname into southern Venezuela. They are from a very humid environment, and I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges with them as far as captive husbandry goes. You have to keep their humidity pretty high. Where they're from, the ground is actually what we call perma-wet, which means that the ground is soaked with a layer of water pretty much year-round. So they're constantly exposed to a very humid environment. These are a primarily terrestrial animal, meaning they live on the ground. They will climb a little bit, but not like you would see like an Amazon tree boa or something like that. They're going to stick close to the ground, hide near the ground, under logs and rocks and things like that. But as you can see, gorgeous iridescence. They have a really cool pattern to them, and they can be pretty variable. There are a few different color mutations of these starting to pop up, but we only work with the normal animals. But yeah, so I'm going to run you guys through how we take care of our baby Brazilian rainbow boas here, because that's probably what you guys will be starting with at home. So I just want to show you kind of the basics of how we do it and give you guys some tips. Alrighty guys, so here it is. This is a baby Brazilian rainbow boa. This animal's probably about 3 or 4 months old now. And this is how we set up our babies. It's a very simple setup, just a water bowl, hide box, and a mulch substrate. As you can tell by his defensive posture there, the babies do tend to be a bit bitier than the adults. Most of my adults are very calm, but these guys come out with a little bit of attitude, which is always good. It helps them get started eating faster and all that good stuff. Like I said, these guys are going on frozen, thawed, fuzzy mice at this point. We typically don't have many issues getting them started eating. Occasionally you'll get a stubborn one that only wants to take live, but for the most part they start off right on frozen, thawed, no problem. Big thing with these guys at this size is just keeping their humidity high. We keep the humidity 70 to 80% with these, and we accomplish that just by spraying down the tub, probably right around twice a week. We do it kind of just eyeball it. If they're super wet, obviously we let them air out and dry out. If they look dry, we give them a little spray. So other than that, the temperature range, we just do a basking area around 87 degrees, 88 degrees. Room temperature cool aside, which is right around like 73, 74. Our facility is pretty cool for all of our other gecko species and stuff like that. I tend to see them sitting right around the 85, 86 degree mark. That seems to be what keeps them the happiest. But other than the humidity, these guys are pretty easy to take care of. I do suggest that you guys stick with a tub system, whether it be a rack or a Sterilite tub with a heat mat under it or something along those lines. Because the humidity is the big issue with them. If you don't keep them humid enough, they struggle to shed, and that can cause more issues than just having a little bit of stuck shed. You can accomplish keeping these guys in a glass aquarium. You can do it. It just takes a little more work, a little more effort, more misting. You have to cover a lot of the screen to keep the humidity up in there. But outside of that, yeah, just, warm and humid is kind of how they like it. And like I said, we do really well with these, so if you see us at an expo, always feel free to ask us questions about any of the species we have on the table, and always make sure you're asking questions from whoever you're buying from. But don't be afraid of these guys. They're not too difficult. I know the internet can kind of scare people off of these with some of the care sheets and stuff and some of the requirements, but they're really not too bad. All it is keeping the humidity high. At this size, I'm feeding every 7 days. My adults, I'm feeding every 14 days, just kind of like any other snake, so. But yeah, that's all we got for the Brazilian rainbow boas. If you guys like this, let me know. I think we're going to keep doing these. And like I said, some episodes will be on really rare species. Others will be on the more common species like these. But regardless, we're going to bring you guys a lot of cool animals this year. So stay tuned.